To all things in life there is a balance, light and darkness, happiness and hardship, sickness and health, wealth and poverty. Each has its own place in life, death, and learning, and as thus requires balance. And this balance shall be achieved either by a force or by the free will of the participant. It is, in the end, inescapable. For example, if you choose to live in complete health despair by not choosing your food wisely and remaining active, you will fall victim to disease either chronic or acute, such as diabetes or a stroke respectively. In this way, and in many others, living in mediocrity may seem to be the easy and comfortable approach to life, and over the short term it is. However, over the long run of life, the enduring of discomfort comes to fruition. It is over the long run of life that planning ahead and removing some of the comforts of mediocrity brings to you the riches beyond any single aspect of life and of living. This bears deserving of thought because it brings light to the idea that you should trade off some short-term pleasure for long-term gain. However, trading off all short-term pleasure in the hopes of gaining long-term gain would bring on one or many of the variants of insanity. The act of balancing how much pleasure you can, should, or will put off in the present and how much you are willing and able to obtain in the future is a challenge all of its own. You must keep in mind what the limits of your mind, body, heart, and soul are when dealing with deprivation for a cause, lest you lose sight of the very cause you go without because of. For example, if you starve yourself in a diet of deprivation, then it is quite simple to lose sight of the goal of happiness that you had first perceived with a more ideal weight, and you begin to crave the old ways of life. You will not be able to change your energies in this way, or in any negative way, in which the only thing keeping you on track is your own long-term willpower. You will not allow yourself to continue on this track for very long. You must ask yourself two questions to find your own answers to this challenge. Where is your own willpower currently, and where do you want it to be? If you desire to have a greater span of willpower, then you must challenge yourself today, tomorrow, and in the future until you obtain this goal. Because willpower, like many things of the mind, body, heart, and soul, it needs to be trained on a continual basis to become stronger, and not just for short periods of time. You can psych yourself up to take on a goal that deprives you for a cause, but without the training of willpower, you will fall once more into what is comfortable. Motivation alone is not enough. If you have an idiot and you motivate him, now you have a motivated idiot. You have nothing more. However, if you take the same idiot and you exercise him in the many powers and strengths that humans hold domain over, then you have something more. Beyond just training yourself and your willpower, you need to have a cause. It's the answer to the grand question of why in your life. It is the question that separates one man from another, because their answer to why affects not only what their goals are, but how they go about achieving those goals. Why is far more important than both what and even how. If you have a why in life, then you will figure out what to do and how to do it. It is the why that guides you. Two men might desire to see more good in the world, but the way they choose to achieve their singular goal, their how in life, may very well take on different paths. One man might decide to rid the world of as much evil as he can through a driven purpose to purify, while the other might add as much good because of a purpose of creation. Finding purpose in your life is not an easy or a quick task to be taken lightly, but it does lead down the roads of fulfillment and achievement. Many questions need to be asked of you, and much time is needed to inflect upon the answers to find the deeper meaning. Begin by asking yourself, what do you want to achieve in life? What is your end goal? Once you have your own answer for that question, follow up by asking how you would like to accomplish this goal. How will your actions bring you closer to your end goal? Finally, once you have your answer to the second question, ask yourself why you want your end goal. Why do you want what you want, and what is the purpose of it all? Once you have reflected upon the answer to those questions, you will then begin to feel what your true purpose is at a core level. Allow yourself to be led from the answer of what to the question of how, from the answer of how into the question of why, and from the answer of why into the action of what and how. You will know the truth of the unspoken words within your answers if you let them be. Take them in. Take time with these and allow yourself to go deep within your mind, heart, and soul, to allow yourself to properly guide your body, the vessel, to greatness. And you can know no limitations for yourself as an endless human being. Once you have found where you stand, you can expect others to oppose you in some way to achieve balance in life. It is a simple fact that for every goal, there is someone who is against that goal, or even someone that would prosper from the goal not being achieved. If you choose to run towards a large goal, expect to be balanced out by the many mediocre individuals that do not believe that you can achieve. You can expect these people to be close to you, because they see you leaving what they perceive as the domain of comfort, and they will try to bring you back to their level in order to protect you as they perceive it. Even more, there will be more than one person balancing you out, because so many people live in the mild realm of comfort and mediocrity that they do not weigh so much as your goals on the grand balancing scale of life. Your goal is more extreme and has more potential than where they are willing and able to go for, partially because of their lack of willpower to do so. However, once willpower is sorted through and strengthened, the next steps begin to illuminate themselves. In all hope, once you succeed, they may be so inspired by you that they dream bigger, gain more potential, and wade through the crowd to ascend the game of life. But it is only in hope. Even if you do succeed, there is nothing to make them so much as move but their own drive, passion, and desire to do more and better things with the time that they are given. This is what separates the great individuals from this earth from the crowds of the masses. Inner drive. Great leaders inspire great action, and if you aspire to lead, aspire to inspire. It is to stand as a grand marker of your success, not to be taken lightly. If you do not believe that all things in life balance out, let me tell you a story that touches my heart and inspires me to this day. On one hot Texas day nearing dusk, a good friend of mine named Fabian jumped in a car with his mother and one of her friends to go out for dinner like they do every week. Fabian was and still is to this day a great person with a good head on his shoulders and a bright future ahead of him. But on that day, things seemed to take a turn for the absolute worst. Turning left into the intersection, their car was struck in the side by an oncoming truck. The man who caused the accident died instantly. His mother died instantly, as did her friend. Fabian lived by the skin on his teeth and was rushed to the emergency room to struggle for his life. Where was I? A block away at the pharmacy I worked at during the time. Did I know what was going on? Not in particular. I heard sirens for the better part of an hour, but I didn't really know what was happening and to who it was happening. The next day, when I had figured out what had happened, I thought that this was a tragic accident, and over the short term it was. It didn't seem just, and I didn't see any silver lining to it. But then, something totally different and just as astounding happened. The community started rallying together to help Fabian and his family. Churches held events for him and his family, the high school gathered donations and rose together for him. He was taken care of and is recovered, walking, and living a relatively normal life considering what he's been through. The loss of his mother brought him down emotionally and spiritually. The accident brought him down physically and mentally. At one point, he had to be placed under a medically induced coma to prevent brain damage. From the absolute bottoming out of one beloved individual came the coming together of a community bigger than what we could have imagined, and those ties last longer than the time of his recovery. That single event brought the community together for years to come, but it had a price that was paid in blood, sweat, and tears equal to the amount gained in connection and goodwill. Everything tends to balance out one way or another with its naturally opposing force. There is no escape in this law of the universe. If you choose to live a life of stagnancy and mediocrity, then you will be forced to change by someone or something. If you choose to live a successful life, you'll be set back by equal but opposite forces. In either case, you must either grow or fail. Failure and mediocrity is living miserably with chronic disease of the mind, body, heart, and soul. And failure of the successful is taking a step towards mediocrity, whether that step be large or small. In this way, the energy inside of you does not stay still. It desires either comfort or growth, which are two balancing ends of the same spectrum. It is comparable to balancing the bubble of a level. There are a lot more angles that make the bubble go to one side or the other than to stay in the middle. Stagnating is like leveling off in an uneven room. You can either fall down to the ground, you can expend some energy to maintain the status quo, or you can expend even more energy and rise above where you were yesterday. On the other hand, growth from mediocrity means becoming more powerful and more successful. And growth from success means increasing your power, influence, and value to the world. In both cases, your energies become brighter and bolder than they were yesterday. But energy must be expelled, and obstacles of the mind, heart, body, and soul must be overcome to do so. What are these energies inside of you? How do they work and interact? And why do we possess them? I've spoken already of energies and some of their interactions with us and how they can appear, but let us dive deeper into what they are. Each energy inside of us ranges from vigor to sloth over one or more of the four basic areas: physical energy, mental energy, spiritual energy, and emotional energy. I refer to these as the energies of the body, mind, spirit, and heart, respectively. Inspiration, for example, is mental, emotional, and spiritual vigor. However, some energies are more complex in that they are filtered through your beliefs. Both excitement and anxiety are emotional vigor with added physical energy, but your belief about this energy changes its polarity. Energy is only a magnitude, and the magnitude can be either positive or negative. This is where your beliefs come into play. Your beliefs can either push you to move forward or whisper into your ear to shut down. These beliefs are nothing more than past experiences filtered through ideas and perceptions on that event, as thus your perception directly affects your belief system. If you choose to look for the good in the world around you, out of both good and bad events alike, then your beliefs will reflect that choice. If you choose to look for the negative aspect of life, then your beliefs will also reflect that as well. Choose to look for the good in the world to be able to use your energy in a more positive way and in a way that allows you to more easily move towards your life's purpose. Both require the same amount of effort. They just require a different lens through which to see the world. Beyond simply knowing what the energies within you are, you must possess them to feel them and have them to be a part of your life and existence. You cannot feel an energy that you yourself do not have. You cannot feel inspired if you have no inspiration. You cannot feel proud if you have no pride. You cannot feel dominant if you have no dominance. Since you cannot feel that which you do not have, you must create it within yourself. It may seem like common sense right now, but many people do not choose to see it in this basic light and attempt to artificially boost their energies without first obtaining them and a reason to have them. There are no external factors that can definitively choose your happiness, your self-worth, or your pride for you. It is all a matter of your perception of these external factors. It is the lens through which you view what is happening throughout your lifetime. These energies lie entirely inside of you. In all reality, there are events that are easier to perceive in a positive light, and there are those that are more of a challenge to perceive well. There is good and evil in all events because of the ever-present balance in all things in life and energy. There is no escaping the universal law of balance of energies. In this way, those who see the malicious half of the event will hold the counterpart energies to those who choose to view the bright lights of their external events. On one side, stress and sadness, and on the other is the domain of uplifting excitement and happiness. Choose where you want to be to live a better life for yourself, for it starts with you. Do not wish for better winds. You might as well wish for the sun to rise in the north. Choose instead to lay out a better sail. That is how you give yourself control in your own life. Do not be a victim of your external events. Grow beyond them. Do not wish for your life to be easier. Wish for you yourself to become stronger through your hardships, for hardships are always there. All you have to do is get beyond them, so become stronger and set better sails. Take my own life lessons as an example. As a young student in grade school, I was picked on and teased most every day. By the 3rd grade, I was crying myself to sleep most every night. By the 4th grade, I was borderline suicidal. By the 5th grade, my sadness turned into bitter rage and I was sent off to anger management therapy. This is where I was introduced to the ideas of choosing your perception. I was not taught to look for the good in all things at that time, but instead, I was taught the proper use of the energies we recognize as anger and to use them to my advantage and to the advantage of the community. With those teachings came the idea that you can choose your emotions and choose to be happy for no other reason but to be happy. I was sick and tired of being borderline depressed feeling and upset all the time. So I decided to stop feeling those energies and to stop allowing them to control my thoughts and behaviors. It was a simple model, but it was still a solid foundation to my growing ideals of life. The very next year, my life took a turn for the better. I'd gotten settled into a junior high school with many new friendly people who teased me decidedly less, and I made many new friends. I felt great until the news was given to me that my family was moving from Kansas to Texas that summer for my father's job. Another blow, and I returned back to sadness and loneliness and being separated from everything that I had once known. However, this gave me a new chance to be a new person, a better person. I applied myself more and was able to fit in as the smart kid. That's not to say that it came without struggle and sacrifice. It was quite the opposite, to tell the truth. I was quite uninvolved in any sort of social life until my junior year of high school. I was entirely dedicated to my studies, and I now know that I have made the correct choice in life. My current state and location, whether chosen or not, allowed me to meet the one person that I have loved more deeply and entirely than almost any other person. The only person that I love more than her is my own mother. I met that woman during the course of my freshman year of high school, and the rest, as they say, is history. All that being said, there is good in all things, even if everything at first appears bleak. In fact, when all things around you appear bleak, it is because the good half is hiding away from you, out of sight in the future and hidden behind the darkness. Think of it as the moon hiding the rays of the sun during an eclipse. It's a time to reflect on what you have learned and experienced, and a time to reflect upon yourself and your ideas, beliefs, and history. There are things to be learned and experienced in the dark, and others to be learned and experienced in the light. They are the pains of growth and the recovery to be able to grow more fully another day. Once more, balance reveals itself to us to be a universal truth and law. All four major parts of your being, your mind, heart, body, and soul, have muscles. And when you put them through enough stress and strain, they undergo a period of damage. But when they are allowed to rest enough, they heal. And when they heal, they do not go back to the status quo, but instead they grow and become more powerful. This is an instance of that which does not kill you, only makes you stronger. Because if the muscles of your energies are not snapped and destroyed in the process of growth and growing pains, they will become much stronger, and in death you are only parted with some of your energies. Now, how do your energies interact with you on a day-to-day basis? Your energies are everything that you feel from the moment you are born. The combined magnitude of your energies equals the scale to which you feel alive. Of course, depending on the filters of perception on your energies, the magnitude may be lifting you to new heights, or can feel like you are being crushed under the sheer weight of your own life. Do you remember my example of excitement and anxiety? The only difference between the two is your perception. One lifts you up, while the other crushes you down. If you live your life in a way that you are empowered by your energies and you allow them to bring you up, then they will do just that, and you will rise up alongside your energies. But if you are afraid of your inner energies and you allow them to stop you, then you will be crushed under the weight of your own life. Since this is all guided and filtered by your ideas and perceptions, you may find it difficult to build up energy around these new ideas and perceptions that you want to have. You can gain traction for a new perception by gaining a new confidence and a new competency. The easiest way for you to do this is to go to your local library. Once you're there, head off to a random bookshelf in the non-fiction section and decide to turn either left or right in the middle of the bookshelf. Pick up the first title that you see and sit down and read it from cover to cover. Once you do this, you can decide if your interest has been piqued. Once you find a subject that has captured your imagination, begin to gain competency in that area by doing these 3 things. Learn, do, and repeat. If you find a book on orthomolecular medicine, find foods that have the vitamins and minerals that you need to live a better, healthier life. If you picked up a book on knitting, knit yourself and your best If you picked up a book on knitting, knit yourself and your best friend a hat. If you pick up a book on the bassoon, then go out, rent a bassoon, and get to practicing. Whatever you've decided to pursue, learn it through words and through action. Keep in mind how this makes you feel and how your ideas and perceptions of your newfound skill are forming. Keep in mind also to make peace with the fact that there is a near endless amount of information, and an innumerable tome of lessons to learn from it all, and you will go far in your studies and in your life. Take the time to reinforce the good energetic habits of seeing the best in life. Take the time to reinforce the good energetic habits of seeing the best in it. What about it do you love? What about it could be better? Can you make it better in your own way, even just for you? Could you share this new way with the community? All are but a few questions to keep in the back of your mind while you learn. Once you learn this new competency, it is easy to allow this newfound perception to grab hold of you and migrate to other parts of your life. It is important to let your newfound perception grow and spread, because it is what allows you to believe what you can and cannot accomplish. Man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If I keep on saying to myself that I cannot do a certain thing, it is possible that I may end up by really becoming incapable of doing it. On the contrary, if I have the belief that I can do it, I shall surely acquire the capacity to do it, even if I may not have had it in the beginning. To get the most out of your experience, you should hone your newfound ability intensely for no less than 6 months. This gives you ample time to learn and understand it. In 6 months' time, you'll have the competence to gain confidence, and with it, new vigor and energy within you that you can apply to new and pre-existing areas of your life, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. In 6 months' time, you will be abundant with newfound energy, and this energy will give you a new perception in life, which will by then have gained sufficient traction to allow it to become a part of you and your being. Finally, we get to the question of why we have these energies. These energies are what get us out of the bed in the morning to face the day, or what gets us to hide under the covers in a lack of will to behold what this new day has to offer. These energies are here to give us direction based on what we believe at a core level. If we believe that the world is a dark and scary place, our energies will work together to protect you on all levels, but in doing so, may very easily stagnate your growth and happiness. However, if you choose to believe that the world is a bright and wonderful place to live in, then your energies will work to help you get the most from the world in exchange for the risk of pushing you too far into danger of some sort. Whether that be a physical danger like skydiving in questionable conditions, emotional danger like the risk of stinging rejection, or any other form of danger. Your energies are within you in order to transcribe your beliefs onto the world physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. If somebody told you that they could offer you protection and all you had to do was hide under a blanket in a corner and they would give you 3 square meals a day and you could live a long, healthy life, would you take it? Your answer depends on what your energies are craving for. To some, the setup might sound good, but for others, especially those who want to go forth and accomplish many great feats in their lifetime, that particular deal is highly unfavorable, because their energies want to grow more than they want to be protected. They still want to be safe to some degree, but they are balanced out by the desire to do great things and to become bigger and better than they were. These energies allow us to act upon and communicate our beliefs for us to have an impact that far exceeds our lifetime. And in this way, our energies are here to make us immortal and living in part in another human being, to be passed from generation to generation. Specifically, what can these energies do for your own life's purpose? Well, at a base level, some of the strongest desires of life are to bring happiness to yourself and to others, to love and to be loved, to grow and to be safe. These bases are expressed in different ways and give way to your own specific life's purpose. You may find that happiness lies in the creation and admiration of the arts, while another may find happiness in knowledge, wisdom, experience, and foresight. This all depends entirely on your ideals and your beliefs. Do you find it more important to create or to accumulate? Do you want to know the future or to help form it? Where do you put the emphasis in your life, both in thought and in action? While you can say just about anything you want to, if your actions are not congruent with your own words, then you can guess that both your actions are not congruent with your words, and your words are not congruent with your energies. If you learn nothing more, learn one simple rule, and that is to never lie to yourself. At an energetic level, you cannot avoid it. You always know what's true and what simply is not true at some point of your being, and you will always feel when you lie to yourself to some degree. Maybe you've been lying to yourself for a long time. Those are always the hardest to shake. But when you wake up to the fact that what you've been telling yourself isn't true, you need to find the true truth and tell yourself that. It may not always be easy, especially if you've been lying to yourself in self-defense, but it will show you the path that holds the destination that you know within yourself that you deserve. You can use old lies to show you your goal, but always use the truth to illuminate your path. The old lies that you've told yourself will show you the fantasy that you've held deep in your desires, that may be something that you should aim for at some level. If you've lied to yourself and told yourself that you're great with the opposite gender, but you simply are not, then you may want to learn to actually be great with them. This will lead to a greater sense of happiness, fulfillment, and authenticity. The truth may set you free, but the lies can reveal desire. Once you are on the right path, the path that leads to your purpose and desire, having a mentor to explain to you where you have been, show you where you are, and to lead you across the road ahead of you is the quickest way to make a long path full of mistakes into a shorter path with smaller margin for error. There still may be error. The purpose of being taught is not to be without erring. The purpose of being taught is to be able to act quicker, more effectively, and with fewer mistakes than are normally part of the learning process. And to give justice to balance, this means that many not only decide to be mentored, but to mentor as well. So, always remember to keep one hand up and one hand down. Never be afraid to seek out guidance. In fact, seeking out guidance in any aspect of life is one of the simplest ways of making life more straightforward. Secondly, never forget to give guidance. For teaching somebody else what you already know forces you to know it fully and completely, and both you and those you guide will grow for it. In this way, striving for your own goals and purpose in life pulls us together as a community to achieve together. One of the boundless reasons for our energies are to bring our communities together as a single unit to thrive and ourselves become more abundant mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Of course, each community will vary in their beliefs and ideals. This explains the warring of nations and of beliefs. The energies within each community is, at the beginning, both opposing their counterpart and of equal strength. We do not wage war on ants, both because quite often we do not find ourselves directly opposed to them, nor do we find them to match our strength and vigor. If they become a bother, we simply exterminate them. But a war is different. In war, each side continues to lose until the tide shifts in favor of one community for a long enough period of time to seize victory. However, in the process of doing so, the scales are slid back into their rightful positions as the victor harbors hate from the remaining members of the defeated community. The energies may no longer be perfectly equal, they are still directly opposing. This peace lasts only while there are no two equal, yet directly opposing communities. Individuals may lash out for the same reason, but a different word is placed against it: crime. While war is only between two communities, crime is performed by an individual and can be against any other party, including another human being, a government, a nation, or a community. Take an example of an apple merchant and a thief. The merchant believes that each person should earn, and therefore pay for, the food that he has. The thief believes that he has either been disadvantaged by the merchant, or has been through enough work or struggle to deserve an apple from the merchant, even though he has no fruit of his labor to give in return for the apple. Since crime is negative in the short term, the inception of the crime lies with the one harboring negative energies. In this case, the thief, the one who feels disadvantaged and lacking, commits the crime of theft against the apple merchant to correct what he views as the wrong in his life. If the apple merchant were either heavily guarded or was the friend of the thief, then the thief would have no reason to attempt to steal, because the two would no longer be either directly opposed or perceptibly equal in power. In the same way, but in opposite polarity, are alliances formed. Alliances are formed between two communities that are energetically equal in the eyes of the other, and whose beliefs are in harmony. Now, their respective beliefs do not have to coincide. One must simply complement the other. When two communities are of equal strengths and their beliefs align and are mutually beneficial to each other, they form an alliance. If they are not of equal strength, the weaker will become the arm of the other in one form or another, because the one with more energetic vigor overcomes the lesser community. They will still combine efforts, but the stronger will naturally take control and assume the role as leader. When this concept is applied at the individual level, it changes name to become a relationship, whether it be between that person and another human being, a government, a business, or any other entity. The name remains unchanged. As a simplistic example, when two people of the same energetic vigor and compatible beliefs, they enter either a friendly or romantic relationship, depending on the levels of each of their energies and the beliefs of each person. If one person has higher energy levels, then he or she becomes a leader, most commonly in thought, in politics, or in business. The one of lesser energy levels is as thus doomed to be a follower until they can have the energy either to lead or come up to the levels of their leaders. There is much to learn from and about the very energies that lie inside each and every one of us, and this lesson is only one of many that you will learn in this grand game of life. Keep your eyes, ears, and mind open to each lesson, and they will be taught to you. Take care and be well on your journey throughout life. This has been Kenn Dunham, CPHD. Until next time, my friends.